Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us again on this Saturday morning sangha for women. It's just so lovely to be in a group of women and be sharing and have this new thread that's going through all of us that we will continue to strengthen through what we're sharing, our shared experiences, and the wisdom that we're sharing together. So today, our theme is intention. And I thought it was so appropriate. I'd been wanting to speak on that anyway, but I thought it was so appropriate with Ruth Bader Ginsburg's passing, because her life was full of intention. Everything she did was around intention and how she manifested that in her life. And such an iconic, inspiring woman. I just, for any of you who haven't seen that beautiful documentary, RBG, that I think is on Netflix or one of the Amazon Prime or one of those, but it's really fabulous about her life story. I became just consumed by her after I watched it. I read every book I could find on her. She was something. So, and elegant to the last day, she carried just such beautiful elegance along with her strength of will. So today we're going to talk about that intention, but before we begin that, Nisidi is going to help us ground into our bodies and drop a little bit of our mental chatter so that we're ready to receive and share.
Miss City, I never heard that before, so that's nice.
You
have that one. That's my new one. Who are you? I'm Miss City. Good. I want us to just rub our palms. And we come into prayer pose, long, deep breath. And of all the women in this world, we are the ones who are coming together right now. So I want us to take a moment to really tune into each other through the, virtual space. Because our energies, our nervous system can connect with each other. Even this way. And to be in a sangha means to really be connected. And I shared it yesterday morning in my class. The beauty for me in the sangha or being in a group is that I feel you in me. Yeah, so we all can feel each other in ourselves. So if Nirmala is speaking, then all of you feel Nirmala inside of you. So there are a lot of Nirmalas. Huh? And so it's for everybody who shared this morning, we feel you in me. I feel you in me. And if we can keep this going on throughout the day, I think we can create more empathy and more compassion. And the sangha can grow so that we can invite more women coming into it. And that's my intention for today. An intention, sankalpa, as we say in Sanskrit, is really something that comes from the heart and from the mind. So it's not only from the mind, you need to connect it with the heart. And that will be worked through our breath in a moment and through our movement. So we open it up, this space, our astral space within us. And to that we tune in with 3 arms. Inhale deeply. Inhale. And then we exhale, we just rest our hands on our knees. We can keep our eyes closed for a moment, moving our shoulders forward, up and back and around. Inhaling through the nose, exhale, open mouth. And I'm in a hotel today, so I have obviously a lot of light issues. Next week will be easier. So but you can keep your eyes closed and I tell you what to do. Inhale and exhale. Just by doing this, we're creating more space for the diaphragm, more space in our lungs and in our chest, opening the fascia. Last 3 rotations. Good. And then I want you to bring your arms out to the side. Open your eyes for a moment. The palms facing up. That's your inhale. On the exhale, you turn your palms down. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now just in and exhale through your nostrils. Really rotate through your shoulders. Feel the slight arch in your spine. Last 3. Good. Now I want you to have your left palm up and your right down, and then you alternate. So you're really moving now through your shoulders. You can move your torso a little forward. Really. Left up, right down, and reverse. And especially in this time, we are holding a lot energetically. So we want to be open in our shoulders, because if they are not free, then the energy presses down onto our heart center. Good, just a few more times. Good, and then we bring our hands into this mudra. You touch the tip of your thumb to the tip of your ring finger and your pinky on both hands. You bring your arms up, elbows up above your ears. That's your inhale. Exhale and bring your elbows back. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So now we bring a little fire into the body, but just enough, not too much. Strong breath. Feel the slight arch again in your heart center. Open up a little bit more. You can do this always sitting on a chair like I am right now. Cross-legged or feet on the ground, on the floor. Just a little bit more. Good. And inhale, bring your arms back. Touch the back with your hands. Lift your chin slightly. Stay here for 3 deep breaths. Inhale through the nose, exhale, open mouth. Good, and then we place both hands onto our knees and the palms facing upward. Now I take my right hand, I inhale, and I bring my right hand to the level of my chin. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and alternating. Just working the energetic field between my first chakra and my 5th. Pull your navel towards your spine on the exhalation. Inhale, expand. And move slowly so your breath can be slow and deep. Nice way to work actually our auric field, for our chakras. Good, and now I just want to fan my heart. I just place one hand on the knee, and then I close my eyes and I bring energy into my heart center. Imagine really how you give yourself energy. Maybe bring in the fragrance of love, self-respect. Really nourishing yourself. Oh, it's so important for us women. And from here, we want to connect our heart with our head, which we need for our intention. Yeah? So we bring our left hand in front of our heart center. We go in front of our throat, our face, over our crown. And then we take the left hand and you just connect the heart with your crown. Moving now from the astral plane into the divine plane. And connecting these two. So if you're blessing yourself, and then slowly bring both hands onto your heart center. Keep your eyes closed. Bow gently towards your heart. And for a moment, just see what is my intention, maybe for today or for my life. Then Nirmala, I think it's fine if you take it from here.
Thank you, Siddhi. It was beautiful. Your comment on the fragrance of love and self-respect reminds me of the question that I think we should each be asking ourselves is, what kind of relationship do I have with myself? Do I have a relationship like I would treat an esteemed guest who comes to my home, and how I would go out of my way to make sure that I had all of the supplies I needed to make their visit beautiful and essentially, luscious and joyful. And what I would do if a guest came that needed assistance, that was having a difficult time, how I would spend all of my energy with them and serve them with food and flowers and my ear just to listen to their whatever was happening for them, do I do that for myself? What is my relationship with myself? We always focus on our relationship with other. Do I have a good relationship with my children? Do I have a good relationship with my spouse? Do I have a good relationship with the colleagues in my work environment? For this time that we're together today and taking it into this next week, I'd really like you to be concentrating on what is your relationship with yourself? How do you communicate with yourself? How do you offer yourself solace and spaciousness? How much room do we give ourselves to be wrong or to be forgetful? We should be treating ourselves as we would treat any esteemed guest in our life, in our home. I'd like us to think about that as we look into the intention. This isn't a very significant intention in our life. If you set the intention to be one of it's not even, I don't want to use a word that makes it sound like we're indulgent, because it's not an indulgence. It's not a requirement in the way that we require things. It's a sweetness. It's the fragrance of self-care. So we use this word fragrance with joy and love and respect and self-care because it's so ephemeral, so subtle that you can't really make a list. I mean, you can make a list, but the devotion of it and the intention of being in self-respect and self-love and self-care, and also in care into the world and love into the world, is so subtle. It isn't just our actions, it's how we align our entire body and our energetic system to go into the world and to serve ourselves in the highest calling. What is called for in the highest calling of every action that we have? And where is our intention weaving into that? So intention has to be supported by action. I would like to say that without action, intention is a wish. Without action, intention is a wish. However, in our Western thought, we think of action as movement, moving from here to there, doing this, making a list, checking things off. And I want us to look at action in a very different way. From the Buddhist tradition, in the Eightfold Path, in the eight aspects of Buddhism, the Four Noble Truths in the Eightfold Path, right action is one of the eightfold themes that we work on. And right action, as I've been taught in the Buddhist tradition, is about understanding and being willing to enter into whatever situation you're in and see what is really called for. Not what your ego wants to do, not what your fear wants to do, not what your controlling nature wants to do, but what is really being called for. And in some instances, inaction, no action is what's being called for. That's your action. So it's not the presence or absence of movement, it's the presence or absence of consciousness. Are we conscious in every moment to know what's really called for? What's our piece in this moment? So with action, with conscious action, intention is transformation. If we use intention driven by a concept of right action, then we see transformation. And back to my job is self-transformation. If we want the world to change, we have to be the change. Michael Jackson said that beautiful song of his, Look, Man in the Mirror. I love that song. There's so many songs and so much written in poetry and prose and about being the change agent. We have to be that for ourselves and for the world. We can't wait for somebody else to come in and decide that they can tell us what the change needs to be. we're trying to raise our consciousness so that in every moment we meet that moment with intention. Everything from how you rise out of the bed in the morning, how you take care of your body, how you feel into your body as it wakes up. Does it need more stretching? Does it need to lie for a few more moments? Does it need a cold shower? What does it need? Every day will be different. So our problem is that we get into patterns, and then we think that the pattern is the answer. So I have a routine. How many people tell me I have a routine? I want you to drop your routines. No routine. I want you to live into each moment as it arises. And what's meant to come out of that moment will become very obvious as you make this a practice. So you'll start meeting the people that enter your life, the situations that enter your life, your personal needs that rise to the surface. You'll start meeting those in your willingness to be present and to have the intention to show up with right action. Ignoring, covering up, making up a story. We're so good about stories and spinning. Isn't that a Western thing? You spin it. We make it what we want to sell. So we make up the story, or we embellish it, or we add a few little things to it, but we make so that we can make it agreeable. So this wasn't a great situation, but I'm going to spin it this way so that I can sit with it, because I don't like to be sitting in it with a little bit of discomfort. So I'm going to make it something else. All you did was cover it up. You didn't make it something else. It still is what it was all along. So how we learn to sit with things as they rise and do what is really necessary to respond to them, even if that's no response, is the most liberating and therefore joyful action we can have in our lives. And what happens out of that is that we stop being fearful. There's no fear if you recognize that you can actually meet every moment as it rises. There's no reason to be fearful. The only place we carry fear is when we think into a possible scenario that is uncomfortable for us. It hasn't even happened. So consciousness, if we want to shift the world just in our own, living our own life, we don't even have to go out and be activists or be, leading any sort of an effort, a universal effort, just in our own space, in our own home, in our own body, we can change consciousness. And if everybody took that responsibility, even a small amount, what if I change my consciousness? I become more conscious 10% of the time. Just 10%. What if everyone on this planet did that? Or what if only 10% of the people did 10% more? It is our responsibility to step into our own consciousness. It's not even a choice, really. If you're trying to live in alignment with your heart's desire and your purpose, your calling, you have to step into consciousness. There's no other way to do it. You have to be aware of what's actually happening. What am I thinking? How am I behaving? How am I responding? What's coming? What are my patterns? The only way for us to uncover and shine the light on those is to be in awareness. So if we want to be responsible for our lives unfolding to the largest capacity and the largest fullness that we carry, we have to step into our own consciousness in every second of our breathing daily life. 10% is great, 100% is better. And how you will experience life, how you will smell the flowers and feel the sadness of somebody who's with you who is grieving, and how you will move through your space will completely change. It will be altered. And out of that altering, joy is revealed. Joy was already there. It's just being revealed. But the state of consciousness allows us to have that unveiling in a conscious way. So we have to be intentional. What are your intentions? What is your relationship with yourself? And what are your intentions? How are you going to take your life and make it a conscious living out of this embodied form that we've been given the gift of for a very limited amount of time? It's so beautiful that it's Rosh Hashanah today, new beginnings, new year, a new time to make a commitment to yourself about how conscious you want to be. It's much easier to live unconsciously in the short run because you don't have to do anything. But in the long run, for how your soul is integrating, so we're back to the integration. The best way to move into consciousness and to move into self-love and self-respect and self-care is through integration of our body, mind, spirit, the triad of the body, mind, spirit. When those are in alignment, then we have a much better chance, our own natural fiat, our own natural strength that we have, not in a power or controlling way, but in a way that's innately ours, is much easier to access. So how do we stay in that? How do we integrate those? One of the things that we're sharing, Laura shared last week with us some tips on digestion and how are we looking at the modalities between what we're eating and how we're using self-care therapy, how we're taking in our day. I've started learning about essential oils. I'm interested in plant medicine. I've always been interested, but I'm specifically interested in how are the different oils, essential oils, helpful in supporting us and supporting me in my day, for my body, for my mental attitude, my emotional attitude. That's a gift that's been planted. It's right here with us. And that we aren't using it is so simple to use it. Essential oils are readily available. You could grow the plant and have fun making things on your own with it, or you can simply buy them. You don't need very many essential oils to impact your life. But how are we looking at the modalities of self-healing and self-care that are readily available, that aren't a big deal? They're around us, totally around us. Today, I asked one of the gals on our call, Lydia, to just share. She's a healer in several modalities, but two of them are in sound and color. And I asked her if she would just share a few minutes, a couple of minutes, about how it is that sound and color have been a healing agent in her life. What we can do to use sound and color in our lives, that of things that you already have in your life. You don't even have to go to the store or Amazon or anywhere. We already have, we're back to that Course in Miracle. There is no lack. We already have what we need. Back to the antidote from the garden that Pablo shared with me and I shared last week. The antidote for what is needed is already around us. We just need to be conscious enough to take advantage of it. So I'd like to just give Lydia a couple of moments to speak, if you will. Let's see if we can unmute you, Lydia, if you can unmute yourself.
That's easiest.
Unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hi.
And just share with us a little bit about light or sound and color and how that's affected your life and what people can do in terms of what women on this call can do to utilize those two modalities as healing agents.
Sure. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Hello, everyone. Some new friends, some old friends. I just want to say that my journey to sound healing actually started about 20 years ago. And it was for my self-healing first because I was diagnosed with autoimmune. I was diagnosed that I had lupus, which I don't have anymore. They say that I don't have anymore, but I still have connective tissue disorder. So when I was, I think I was about 37 or something like that, And when I got that diagnosis, I was like, bam, wow. It's almost like, what do I do now? And I know that the conventional treatment would eventually be steroid, and I just don't want to go that route. So I really asked with a lot of intention for healing, for a modality that I can seek for alternative healing. I don't want to just rely on drugs. So I made a conscious effort to find a self-healing modality. So for me, stress is the number one factor that will flare up my autoimmune. So stress, I find that is the one thing that I cannot have in my life. So for sound, that is such a good modality to de-stress. And Fabienne, my first master in self-healing, in sound healing, has said that 90% of healing is relaxation. So we really have to find a way that we can relax. And for me, it's sound and color. And those two modalities is vibration. It's all about vibration. We are made out of a lot of water. So we really resonate with vibration. And tuning into the harmonics of sound, it's like retuning our own body into harmony, like retuning a piano. When your piano, some key is out, you need to tune it back. So I find that very helpful for myself. And sound healing and color also work on our subtle energy field, or you can say the auric field. It works on 3 levels: your etheric, your emotional, and mental. When you retune and you clear all of the impurities around your subtle energy field, you are actually clearing the seeds of illnesses. If we don't clear, if we don't make this outside healthy, it will work our way into the physical body. So that's one thing that we need to be aware of, is constantly clearing, not just your physical self, but also your subtle energy field. So for sound, what it has done for me is it has made me more grounded. It has promoted more awareness of my own body, of my needs, like what Nikki was just saying. You have to be aware of what you need, not just for your body, but also for your soul. It has helped me to make space for self-healing. If I'm so cluttered, if I am full of negative thoughts or patterns or just emotions, there's no room for healing. So both of those modalities has helped me. So let's move on to color. How does color help me? Same thing, vibration. So as you can look in the back of me, you see all the aurosoma equilibriums that I work with. You don't even have to know what it is. You have to look at it and it affects you because it's got vibrations, right? It's something that helps you. So how can we use color and sound in our everyday life? It's so simple. There's music everywhere. There's sound everywhere. There are sounds that you are attracted to, or I love ocean sound or water sound, and you can easily go walk in nature. I love the sound of trees, just to be aware of the sounds that make you feel good. I love music. You can turn on your music and just go to find the sounds that make you feel good. As simple as that. And I highly recommend, if you are drawn to playing music, then just pick up something and play it. Or the most powerful healing modality is our voice. So when you hear Siddhi or Nikki, when they're leading us, it's healing already because of their voice, because of what the intention that's in their voice is, all to help us. So we can also use our own voice and just doing simple things like chanting or simple om, soham, or something really simple every day, or just make a sound from your voice. And then you can kind of figure out, why am I making this sound? Be aware of where the vibration is coming. It could be a sound that is like vibration from your heart, or a very low sound. It's like down in your first chakra. Perhaps you need more grounding. Or when you make a sound that is coming from your heart, maybe your heart needs some healing. So I think it's all about awareness. Or drawing, or
Lydia,
simple
dear,
things.
Lydia, dear, I think we're running out of time.
Oh, okay, sorry, I can go.
Want to say. I
Thank
want
you.
to share more. We'll share as a start. Let's just use sound going forward for this week as part of our what we're using for our own self-care. And let's have an exploration. Everyone explore what they can find as the sound that soothes their soul the most, and take care in your relationship with self. Let's explore that this week. And Siddhi, I'm turning it over to you. Thank you, Lydia, so much. And
Thank
Siddhi,
you.
I'm late.
Thank you, Lydia. So beautiful listening to you. And I want to take this, what you just said, so because I want to come back to the heart. And in the Indian tradition, the Biji sound for the heart is yum. For me, it's like yummy. You know, that's the American way of listening to it. But it's yum. And then I thought the mudra that I would like to share this morning is a mudra for manifestation. Because like what Nirmala said, if we just have dreams, they might not manifest. But if we have an intention, we can also create an action. And one of the action is to use our hands. So this mudra, I will show in a moment. So we will hold the mudra and then just mentally recite yam. And when you mentally recite yam, focus on your heart center. Yeah. So I want you to cross your hands now. And then you hook your pinkies. Everybody got that? And then we leave our ring fingers in space. Now we hook our middle fingers. Then we hook our index fingers. And now you connect the tip of your thumb to the tip of your ring finger. For some, this might not be as easy, but I want you to really give it a try, because this works your meridians and activates your elements. Yeah, so, and also especially your nervous system, because the mudras work through the nerves. So again, we hook our pinkies, we hook our middle fingers, our index, the pointer fingers, and then the tip of the thumb touches the tip of your ring finger. And you just hold this mudra in front of your heart center. Closing your eyes. And then just feel the vibration of yam in your heart. For some, they'll inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose, but on the exhalation, they mentally recite yam. So you find your way. Just stay with the yam. Maybe you inhale mentally reciting the yam and exhaling the yam. Or you just hear the yam in the back of your head. And when the distraction and the environment maybe take over, you just become aware of it. If the mind gets too active, and just become aware of it and come back to the yam. Settling into your heart. The place from which intention arises. Take a deep inhalation. And exhale, open mouth. 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale, open mouth. Last one. We're keeping our eyes closed. We're letting go of the mudra and the mantra. Keeping our hands now on our knees, palms facing upward. And allowing ourselves to be just for 1 minute in a receptive mode. We bring our hands into prayer pose. And we come into just saying namaste to each other. Namaste. Thank you all for being with us. Thank you, Nirmala. I will stop the recording and you will receive it today. Have a beautiful, thank you, Lydia, for sharing. Such a pleasure to be with all of you, especially with Mrs. Emily. Are you our youngest today?
She is.
But I also saw a baby somewhere. Okay, my dears, we see you next Saturday.
Mm.